Community Solidarity was formed for Holocaust Memorial Day 2022 and exists to oppose the hatred of minorities and oppressed peoples arising from false and harmful information. As Steve has said, Holocaust Memorial Day is held annually in many countries on 27th of January because that's the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz by the Red Army in 1945. It commemorates not only the Nazi slaughter of Europe's Jews, but also other genocides. Cambodia, Rwanda, Bosnia and Darfur are specifically referenced, but it's understood that other genocides are also commemorated. The Nazi attempt to exterminate the Jews is foregrounded in part because, unlike other mass slaughters motivated by racism, this was the first time that the full force of a modern industrial state, its administrative and bureaucratic capabilities, its industries, its science and technology, were deployed with the purpose of destroying an entire people. We mark this day in the hope that memory and understanding will help us to prevent such slaughter in the future and to give courage to those who resist. There's always a tension between wanting to make the commemoration more inclusive, to recognise the similarities between different episodes of mass murder, and wanting to learn from the specific history that gave rise to each of them. There's a risk that a shopping list approach to genocides works against understanding. This year's Holocaust Memorial Day presents even more challenges than most. We see a rise in anti-Semitism and Islamophobia around the world. We are living in the fallout from the Hamas attack into Israel on October the 7th last year, involving the largest killing of Jewish civilians since the Holocaust itself, 685 civilians, including 36 children, 132 Israeli citizens are still held hostage, 25 have died in captivity. But we're also living in the fallout from the retaliation ordered by Netanyahu's Israeli government, which has killed tens of thousands, including thousands of children. Other Holocaust Memorial Day events around the country have deliberately avoided raising this, concerned that it may cause hurt to Jewish Holocaust survivors and descendants of victims. The creation of the State of Israel was intimately connected to the Holocaust. Many people, movements and states that had previously been hostile to Zionism and to Jewish immigration to Palestine changed their mind as the full horror of what happened to the Jews of Europe became known. Israel was created with tragic consequences for the Arabs of Palestine. For many, perhaps most Jewish people, it held out a kind of promise that the trauma would not be repeated. No more helpless, stateless Jews desperately seeking exit routes and refuge in a world where they had no place. But 2 generations on, Israel is accused of genocide at the International Court of Justice in The Hague. For me, this is heartbreaking. I don't care very much whether what is happening meets some formal, technical or legal definition of genocide or not. We know that around a third of buildings across Gaza have been destroyed. Around 85% of the population has been displaced. More than 200 schools and the Islamic University of Gaza, the first higher education institution established in the Gaza Strip, have been destroyed. Gaza's oldest mosque, originally a 5th century Byzantine church, has been destroyed. The oldest church in Gaza, St. Porphyrius Church, believed to be the 3rd oldest church in the world, has been damaged. The entire population faces malnutrition, if not starvation, and diseases such as diarrhea are rampant. I am heartened, though, by those in Israel, including families of those taken hostage, who have taken a stand against what their government and state is doing. And today, I'd particularly like to call attention to a declaration by a group of Holocaust scholars at universities in Israel and elsewhere, who've written an open letter to the Yad Vashem Holocaust Remembrance Centre. Their letter asks Yad Vashem chairman, Danny Dayan, to voice an unambiguous moral call condemning incitements to genocide made by Israeli officials and personalities, and against a public discourse calling for extermination and the commission of war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza. And the statement continues, "We, the undersigned, know from Jewish and human history, especially from studying the Holocaust and its memory, that incitement to extermination and to commission of grave crimes, using language that creates dehumanization and an incrimination of all members of a rival group within a conflict, are in many cases a first step in committing crimes that can reach the stage of genocide. This is a key lesson learned by humankind from the Holocaust. It has been included in international conventions, some of which were signed by Israel. This is also part of the call Never Again, in the spirit of which commemoration organisations, led by organisations like Yad Vashem, conduct their education. Let us pledge that never again means never again for anyone. The Jewish experience of racism and our liberatory traditions impel us always to fight against oppression and to act in solidarity with the oppressed.